So the Ghana Football Association, after a lot of meetings, has come out to say that it's likely that Ghana Premier League will be returning. And that is a statement that a lot of Ghanaians looks a bit disappointed. My name is Delale Frank and welcome to Del Soccer. In today's video, we're going to talk about way forward after the death of Kotoko's fan, POOLEY, and other areas and other practical things I think Ghana can do moving on. If it's your first time here, hit on the subscription button. And also, if you have already subscribed to this platform, thank you for coming back. Without wasting much time, let's get straight into today's video. All right, so if you've not heard, or I'm sure you are watching this video, you are aware that Ghana, we want to play a football game in Ghana, and someone actually managed to kill a fellow football fan. Kotoko played in Swatema away from home, and the game ended in one of the most bizarre circumstances. An Swatema fan ended up stabbing a Kumasi Asante Kotoko fan called POOLEY, Nana POOLEY, a very famous Kumasi Asante Kotoko fan. And as a result of that, there's been a lot of conversations around that. The first thing is that the IGP has made a lot of arrests. They've met the Football Association. But we're going to talk about the thing that the FA has done and how Ghanaians have reacted to it. So first of all, the FA immediately suspended the Ghana Premier League. So this weekend's Premier League will not happen. And also try to engage the Ghana Premier League clubs. First, they engaged the Premier League clubs, which included the Kotoko and Hearts of Oak and the Swatman and everybody. And then they've also announced that they're going to engage club supporters, leaders of all the Premier League clubs. They've also spoken with the IGP. The IGP has met the Ghana Football Association and everybody, and they've had a conversation. So we're all waiting for the FA and the Football Association and its football people to meet. And then when they meet, we'll know the way forward. So when they met, they came up with a press statement. The Premier League clubs came together with a press statement. And after the press statement, a lot of people are disappointed. Disappointed simply because either they were expecting more than what they announced, or they had different expectations. So they were like, as you people go meeting, or this be the only thing you discuss. And also after the meeting, there were a lot of interviews. Fred Champon came out to explain that, they're also going to meet match commissioners. And then after that, the league will come back and continue. Also, Aminu Shado, who is with Dreams FC and also the team manager of the Black Stars, also said that everything that is happening is a matter of compliance, because a lot of things that they are supposed to do are in their laws and statutes. He said that the FA don't follow, and that has been the major problem. Ghanaians are disappointed by the meeting and the outcome, and today we are going to explain. I'll try and explain the practical things we are supposed to do, and also explain why I feel you are disappointed. First of all, there's little that the FA can do in the middle of the season, and that's the reality. I think the reason why sometimes when issues happen in Ghana, we don't really get instant solutions is we are not a bit realistic. So we're going to be realistic here. First of all, we are in the middle of the season. Someone has allegedly killed a fellow in a football stadium. It's a pure criminal case. A pure criminal case, as the IGP said, which has to be investigated by the Ghana Police Authority. The IGP has made some arrests and others have been arraigned before courts. That's great. We have to allow the courts and the Ghana laws to run, which is pretty good news. Once the law is running, it takes a lot of time. So are we going to say that we are not going to play football again until we find those people guilty? Obviously not. If you are going to be very, very honest and realistic. Obviously not. So we have to come back and play the game. That one definitely, we have to come back and play the game. And it doesn't mean that we don't respect the dead. But we have to come and play the game. However, how are we coming back to come and play? That's the most important thing. There's been a lot of conversations around and what we think people can do and all that. Most of them are not practical, and that's the reality. Let's have this conversation. So the first thing that I saw that I was pretty much happy and I was expecting something positive out of it was Kotoko and House of Folk coming together to form alliance to demand a lot from the FA. That was great. But when they released the statement, it's dead. Like, you realize that after the statement, it ended being a statement. Why? Because the steps that they are supposed to take, I believe they don't take the right steps. I heard people saying that they have to come together and demand for more money from the FA, demand more money from sponsorship and all that. The truth is that the league that we are playing right now, there's no sponsor. So how can Kotoko and Hasfield now come together and say, give me more money? There's no even money. So first of all, they have to come together and build the league as the two biggest clubs. That's the first thing that, in my opinion, I think Kotoko and Hasfield needs to do. Come together and build the league as the two biggest clubs in Ghana. Represent Ghana in the highest level, CAF Confederations Cup, CAF Champions League. When you do that, you build the league and grow it as the two biggest clubs. I always say that it took Real Madrid and Barcelona to make the La Liga what it is in the past 10 years. It's been the two clubs that have run the league and attract a lot of money. One, Kotoko and House of Folk needs to come together and help the league to go autonomous. Going autonomous means the league and the Ghana Premier League clubs needs to be the shareholders of the Ghana Premier League and give it to a private entity to manage it than the Football Association managing the league. That is the beginning of solving a lot of Ghana's problems, especially in football. Because now the FA manages the league, and the FA has, as I'm saying today, the FA has little political power over the clubs, because the FA president and the executive council and the FA structure is a bit political, that the clubs rather have more power over the Football Association because of I will not vote for you. Because of that, it's very difficult to hold the clubs to high standard of practice. So, but when the league is run privately by private entities, it means that these private individuals would hold the clubs, because these are CEOs that are employed for, let's say, 2 years, 3 years, private businessmen investing in the Ghana Premier League. They would hold the clubs accountable. Because one, if House of Folk and Kumasi Asante Kotoko are able to, let's say, drag $2 million into the Ghana Premier League and say, we are the majority shareholder of the Premier League that we are playing, $2 million, we are taking X amount of money, the clubs will agree. But now that there's no money in the league, how can they say we are demanding it? Especially when the two clubs have not lived up to the expectations. The other clubs will not even agree. Also, the FA is not able to hold these clubs accountable because of the political structure of the Premier of Ghana football now. So, and as Aminu Shado said, it's a matter of compliance. The clubs are not complying to the same rules that they've agreed to, because there's been a lot of things that have been left into the hands of the clubs themselves. Example, match day protocol and the security, for instance. It is in the hands of the home team to provide security. Stewards basically run the Premier League on a match day. That structure cannot help. What we need is, just like international games they do, if CAF is organizing, if there's a CAF Confederations Cup between any club, CAF brings an official who will come and supervise that particular league, the game. Apart from having the match commissioner, there's another official from CAF who supervises that game. And I think that process the FA needs to adopt. Every match day, at least, there needs to be an official from the league present at the match venue as an independent body with the authority to follow the league, the game, very well, and say, this game is not safe and we can't continue. CAF security officers have the power to call off games when they believe that the game is not safe. That structure, we need it so that it can take some power from the home team so that we will move away from win at all costs mentality. That needs to change. Moving on, the Ghana police needs to be very dependent when it comes to home games and dependent of the home teams. Because if I'm playing a home game and I'm a club and I go and bring the security officials and I'm the one going to pay them, and on a match day I am losing the game, the security men automatically become supporters of the club, and two, they want the team to win so that the CEO or the owner of the club will pay them well. In my opinion, I think these security measures needs to be handled independently and separate from the Ghana police. If they don't have enough men to be available on match days, just like they've trained people to be community police, we need stadium police or something like that, where these people will be individuals trained to be in the stadium under the Ghana police wing, and they will manage the stadium. They are not home fans. They are catered for by the home team, but prepaid or catered for by the tournament organizers. But these club owners have already paid for their services. So when they come, they are very independent. If we don't do these things, any other thing that we are saying is obviously not practical. Because right now, we can't say that we won't go back and play the Premier League. We have to play it because a lot of people depend on it. Even the players themselves that are not corporate of this incident, they are there, the club owners, the coaches and all that. So we have to continue and play the league, but it has to be safe. The immediate ones are the FA helping these clubs to have the police being different, or the police not being over dependent on the whole team, so that the home team don't have a lot of control over these clubs. But if we want to solve this hooliganism problem once and for all, we have to make sure that the league is run autonomous. It's only an autonomous body that can hold the Ghana Premier League clubs to high standard. The FA cannot. GACA cannot, because the GACA itself consists of the clubs who are not ready to do the right thing. Mention the clubs, like all our games, like we need, it's only few clubs that are willing to run the league in the modern era. I'm going to say it again. Kotoko and House of Folk, if they want to come together, they come together to fight for an autonomous league with proper investment. House of Folk and Kotoko can walk straight into any company and the company will give them money. Kotoko were able to secure loan to buy a bus. Togbe Afede was able to secure loan to build Accra House of Folk sporting facility that they have now. The country would invest in the Premier League with the help of Kotoko and House of Folk. For me, I think these two clubs have huge responsibility and they need to come together and do it. A lot of people are disappointed by the decision that the FA has taken and the details of their reports. It's not them. It's simply because every other thing that they have to do is already in their status. They are just not obeying them. It's a matter of who would hold them accountable and whether they'll be ready to follow them. That's it. But I've always said that killing somebody in the stadium, we were making baby steps towards it. Today, unfortunately, someone has to die before we would see new changes. And I'm hoping that the clubs involved in the Ghana Premier League clubs will come together this time around and be very civil and be very, very respectful and play football for what it is. My name is Elali Frank. Let me know what you think in the comment section. What are the practical ways you think we can change our football, especially the Premier League, and make it better? Until we meet again, bye-bye for now.